Alright, let's do it.
Is that it?
Well, what do you think I was gonna do? Throw the DVD over my shoulder and storm off like an angry baby? Who'd want to see that?
Yeah, this looks really nice. Oh! Hello and welcome! As you can tell by the title, I'm the Obsessed Movie Man, O.M.M. You know, we haven't really talked about Godzilla in a long time now, have we? So let's remedy that and talk about Godzilla 2000! I was a kid when this film first came out, and was not only a big Godzilla fan, I was a survivor of that awful TriStar film. But aside from that disaster, I have vivid memories of seeing Godzilla 2000 on the big screen. I even still have my VHS copy of it. Recently, I bought the DVD copy and decided I needed to rewatch it, and while quite a few things still hold up, there are some things that were a little, weird. To begin with, this story is very standard. Godzilla shows up to wreak havoc while a UFO is discovered which has aliens inside that wish to take over the world! Don't you just love that cliche? They need some kind of material to give them a physical body, and that is something Godzilla has, which is called Regenerator G1, and is also the source of Godzilla's healing abilities. The film doesn't even waste any time. Within the first minute or two, here comes Godzilla. No elaborate backstory, no warning, he just shows up and does his thing. It's like this is a common occurrence to Japan, as there's a group called the Godzilla Prediction Network, which monitors his movements. Godzilla sports a new look, which is pretty awesome. He seems to look more powerful given the body looking bigger, as well as the spines on his back. I mean, what were you expecting Godzilla to look like? An iguana?
We have the rights to Godzilla. Now who should we hire who would anger the fans?
Hello, my name is Roland Emmerich. I am a movie director. I dislike Godzilla. My movies tend to get mixed to negative reviews because I make the same crap. Oh, and I still dislike Godzilla.
You're hired!
In many ways, this is how they should have done the '98 film. Just throw in an explanation of what Godzilla is, make his first appearance grand and dramatic, and then introduce a rival he has to fight. And while we're on the subject, this is how the Godzilla 2014 film should have handled it! There is a lot of great miniature work in the film. The buildings, tanks, it all looks top-notch. But with that said, there are problems with some of the effects. There's a CGI shot of Godzilla swimming underwater that isn't too convincing, and sometimes the green screens aren't that effective. But again, certain film techniques used to show off his size are great. Even if our characters are miles away from him, Godzilla can still easily be seen, making him look like a giant behemoth. Speaking of giant behemoths, let's talk about the villain, Regenerator G1. Or is it Orga? For most of the film, the UFO is the villain, and we never really see the alien until near the end. When the government discovers it, it kind of reminds me of the original Thing, where scientists see the shape of the UFO underneath the ice, bring it out, and then the creature wakes up. So why did I give this creature two names? Doesn't it just have one? Well, let's dig into that. It should be worth noting that I've only seen the dubbed version, so maybe this was an American change, but what happens in the film is that the cell that allows Godzilla to heal is given the name Regenerator G1. That makes sense, but then the UFO is being referred to by that name, so I'm a bit lost there. The UFO begins hacking all of Earth's computers to learn everything about Godzilla, and by some means, our heroes are able to figure out that it wants to take over the world. How the hell did they figure that out? In fact, the protagonists discover a lot about this alien race simply because they are using our computers. Yeah, that doesn't really make much sense, so let's get back to the Regenerator G1 Orga thing. The UFO manages to take Regenerator G1 from Godzilla, and I guess that causes the aliens to materialize into what is either its original form or something else. Nevertheless, it mutates out of control and turns into Orga. And how do I know that it's called Orga? 'Cause I played the Godzilla video games, goddammit! It's a really cool design, but I wish that it was in the movie a bit more, so we could have had at least two fights. I do like the concept of it basically trying to turn into Godzilla, though, as when it bites Godzilla, Orga slowly begins to look like him.
That's an awful lot of information about a monster that doesn't show up until the very end. So let's balance it out with me complaining about more stuff.
First off, the characters. Yeah, I know it's kind of pointless to analyze human characters in a Godzilla film, but these ones are a mixture of decent and holy hell over the top. The two characters I don't really have a problem with are this father and daughter duo, Yuji and Yuki Shinoda, who are in charge of the Godzilla Prediction Network. They never really go into why they made it, but I have one guess.
For science!
I would have liked to have seen a bit more development between the father and daughter, maybe explain what happened to the mom, or maybe see if Godzilla affected them in a personal way, but maybe that would have eaten up too much runtime. They have a photographer named Yuki who tags along with them, and man is she annoying and dumb! At one point, they are extremely close to Godzilla, to the point where he's looking right at them. And what does she do? She takes a whole bunch of pictures and the flashes piss Godzilla off, causing him to attack them. We also have an extremely over-the-top antagonistic-like guy named Katagiri. I have no idea if I should refer to him as a bad guy or not, as his job is to get Godzilla killed, but he has this big rivalry with Yuji that it kind of reminds me of the rivalry between Ash and Gary from Pokemon, or Yugi and Kaiba from Yu-Gi-Oh! There's a point where the army is going to blow up the building the UFO is on, and when Katagiri learns that Yuji is still in the building, all he says is, "Looks like I'm gonna have to send more flowers."
What the hell, man?
But yes, he does have a death scene with Godzilla, and it's almost as comedic as the soldier guy who died in Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. But even then, I don't understand why he allows himself to die. He could have escaped like the others, but nope! He lights a cigarette and allows Godzilla to kill him while screaming, "Godzilla!" We have this stereotypical Godzilla ending about how humans created Godzilla and yet we try to kill him. Keep in mind, they're discussing this while Godzilla is leaving. Yuki asks why Godzilla defends us then, to which Yuji says, and I'm not kidding, that maybe it's because Godzilla lives in all of us. And if you're not laughing at that, you'll probably laugh that a nanosecond after he says this, Godzilla burns down a whole bunch of buildings.
And that's what makes this the greatest Godzilla ending of all time. Screw humanity, let's light this city up!
So, does Godzilla 2000 still hold up? Yes and no. While there is a lot of Godzilla, there's less of him than I remember, which I acknowledge is a weird statement. We spent a lot of time with these characters, but we don't really know that much about them. There are some effects that hold up, but that being said, there are effects that don't hold up. Godzilla has a great design, and the opponent, while a little confusing, is very creative and cool. If you want to watch a fun Godzilla film without having to know anything from other films, I can't recommend this one enough.
Thanks, this is an O.M.M review. This is O.M.M, signing out.